transport. Locked in a stalemate with the man was no. Rock in a hard place, it's battery control. What am I waiting for? Seaplanes are beneath. My compass, my transport.
Welcome. We are back. Another day in the market, but not just any other day in the market. One of the craziest days I think the stock market has ever seen. It didn't affect every sector of the market. There were some sectors that were relatively flat. I mean, just going through my watch list, like there were definitely names that really didn't participate today. Even small caps didn't participate too much early on, but then they kind of caught a rally later on in the day. But AMD closed up 10%, Nvidia closed up 16%, and SMCI closed up 33%. The Qs closed up 3%, the SPY closed up 2%. Chinese stocks did great, the Yen ETF was up 5%. The small caps SMH VanEck ETF was up 7%. Very crazy numbers today, and we're going to get into all of that. So definitely a lot to talk about here. Starting off with Bitcoin, you're still testing 52K. The analysis is pretty much the same on this one. It's not much of a change. You're testing the same level. On SOL, that bearish cipher is still playing out. And on Ethereum, you're pretty close to this upper trend line now, showing a little bit of indecision with that doji candle that just printed. Treasuries moved a little bit higher today. The dollar moved a little bit lower. It's currently testing a breakdown of this bear flag, or just rising wedge, whatever you want to call it. Silver and gold remain pretty neutral and sideways. And the Hang Seng Index just opened up. It's pretty flat, but very nice close yesterday, pretty much highs of the rally currently. And we are really seeing some relief in Chinese names. I actually did alert Chinese ADR stock as a new swing in premium today. If you want to check that out, it's the pinned chat to join. You can get a free 3-day trial. And I mean, yeah, just looking quickly into some other sectors before we talk about the SPY and the Q. It's like if we take a look at the Dow Jones. I don't think a lot of people have been talking about how this one's just been absolutely ripping. It didn't even pull back as much as the Qs and the SPY over the past week or so. The Dow Jones really just held up. And I guess pretty much that was your little range that you created, and now it's broken above it. We take a look at financials. They've been doing pretty well. They're getting close, or XLF at least is getting close to retesting all-time highs after this range breakout. Good stuff there. Energy's been doing okay. This might be one sector to watch that hasn't fully heated up yet like the rest, but this is pretty much the first time in this range that the bears have not been able to take the energy select sector back down to 75, and now it's testing a wedge breakout and a 200-day moving average breakout. So maybe energy is the next sector to keep a little bit of an eye on as just kind of like a lagging play for the overall market going higher. But what's not been a lagging indicator and what's been the leading indicator in the market is small caps. And oh my gosh, take a look at this. This is the VanEck Semiconductor ETF. And we talked about this cup and handle on the stream as it was breaking out at the end of last year. We were like, this is a mega breakout. That pattern was 3 years long. Let's see. It was almost 3 years long, and you just broke out of it. And since it broke out, it went from 160 to 210 roughly. So let's talk about the overall market now. If we take a look into the SPY, this is really the one main point I want to focus on. You still have classic bearish divergence on the RSI until you make a higher high here, which means you'd have to get above 72 on the daily RSI. And you're now back to the same place where pretty much the last 1, 2, 3 times we touched this upper trend line of this rising wedge on the daily. The SPY did start to reject it and pull back, and you do have a gap fill from the gap up today. But if we go down to lower time frames, it doesn't look as bad. Like if we're gonna go take a look at the 4-hour chart, your classic bearish divergence is over now on the 4-hour. You now actually have hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. And I mean, I guess the simplest way to view the breakout we saw today on the 4-hour, it's pretty much like this, something like that. At 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, you got a gap up breakout, and I'd say remaining above 503 is bullish for the market. Like I said last night on stream, being under 503 would be bearish. Today you actually gapped right up to 503, held it the whole day, and finished another 4 points higher. So that potential double top, remember, it really wasn't confirmed until that neckline broke, never happened. All right, you got a little bit of a reaction off the second high. I actually did play puts on that for profit and took profits before Nvidia's earnings, at least on the Qs. And you just never broke the neckline, and now you have gone higher. So I'm going to chart out a new level on my 1 hour for the SPY right here at 503, and that is a new line in the sand for the S&P 500. So we will see if this daily wedge supply line test gets us to retest that tomorrow. And that is the SPY. If we move over into the Qs now, you closed pretty much at your, like, this is your highest close ever, but you didn't close at new all-time highs. You pretty much matched all-time highs to the high of the day today. So still technically a make or break area. You are now back within the wedge though, and technically you only broke out of it for like 1 day. I guess there's a little bit of hidden bullish divergence. The MACD is pretty small on the daily currently, but on the 4-hour you can definitely see that yes, there is hidden bullish divergence on the QQQ 4-hour chart. Here's the 1-hour look. I mean, you know, that was a very weak breakdown from this wedge, and Nvidia definitely had a lot to say about it. So there's not much else to really continue there on the Qs. If we move over into small caps now, like I said, this has just been a very choppy range on lower time frames, just for a little bit of a small move. I believe it was actually this move right here. I did alert this as calls and premium, and the second I broke the 90 EMA, I'm like, okay, that's pretty much invalidated. And you know, you have this major tester at like 200. 3 times today you rejected it. The bulls really couldn't get a close above it, so you're just testing a big resistance here. It's a very, very big make or break area for small caps currently. The ARK ETF is kind of bounced a little bit within its cup and handle, not too much to focus on there. So let's talk about the big names now. Let's get into the chips. AMD, technically, like, we can just remove this for a second, technically broke out today. I even mentioned this in premium. The second that AMD crossed above this resistance point at 180, I was like, okay, it's getting a breakout, and it almost got up to the next level, which was your previous all-time highs at 185. So huge move for AMD today. We were talking about this range, and it did break that range to the upside. So we will see if AMD can now use this hidden bullish divergence and volume on the daily to reach new all-time highs within the next couple of days. And what kind of gave it that signal? Nvidia with the monstrous earnings, very similar to the SPY. You can see how the SPY pretty much got above 503 today in the morning, which was your resistance from these two highs, and immediately flipped it into a support. Nvidia did the same thing with its previous all-time highs. Pretty much got above 742, flipped those highs into a support, and then closed higher on good volume. So the next psychological level is 785. Really not much of a change there. Moving on to SMCI, up 33% today. If we go over to a 4-hour time frame, believe it or not, there is hidden bullish divergence. I don't think you can make much of a pattern out of this. This is kind of like the technical analysis is out of the door for right now, and it's just a game of psychology at this point for a stock like this. Nonetheless, quite the crazy move. One chip I do want to mention that really hasn't participated as much, I mean, it was up 5% today, is MU. And MU pretty much broke out of this bull flag today. It actually has been able to hold $80 as support successfully for some time now, and it has now broken out of a wedge as of today, or a flag as of today. Maybe a retest of 90 to come. I think if it breaks 90, there's a good chance it sees 100. I mean, there's really not much resistance between 90 and 98, and you know, statistics, most stocks that get above 90 get up to 100 as well. So great day for the chips. In terms of the swings, Tesla was up 1%. Like I said, this still looks bullish to me. Over 181, this swing is currently up 8%. Alerted for free in the Discord. The link's down there on the bottom. And BABA was up like 1%. Swings up, let's see. Swings back in profit now, only up 2%. Beyond pretty much hit its first target today. This was alerted for free in the Discord, I think about a week or two ago. And 23% profit. Literally all you have to do is join Discord down there, and you would have gotten access to see the swing when I was alerted at 633, and the high of today was 7.77. Earnings report coming up in 5 days for this one, so we will see what happens there. What else is going on here? I think Riot actually reported today. Not much of any move after hours, it seems. But this one was just perfect. I mean, I alerted Riot down here at $11. The third target when I alerted it was $18.26. And I mean, 2 cents off went to $18.24. It quite literally went to all 3 targets before pulling back. Like, it literally ripped up to my third target, and that was when it saw its first pullback. So perfectly kind of hit the textbook target of this bullish bat. Coinbase, another one, pretty much hit all 3 targets. Now the resistance on Coinbase is around 190. And that's pretty much it for the swings. Look into some large caps now. One second here. Alright, looking at some large caps. Apple, I thought it was going to break, and it still could, but I did think it was going to break the 200-day moving average here. Usually by 4 bounces, or 4 tests, you don't bounce again. But right now it is, and again, maybe thanks to Nvidia earnings. So we will have to see, but there is actually classic bullish divergence on the MACD and the RSI that just formed. So we will see if that can play out. I'd say it looks okay above 180, which is the 4 lows it's put in so far this year. Alright, let's look into some other large caps now. Microsoft up 2% today. This one's not really easy to chart right now, but I would simply just look at it as a new range forming here. We'll see which way that breaks. Qualcomm, another chip stock, up only 2% today. This one's been finding some resistance in this zone here between 153 and 157. I'll draw that out right there. So it's just testing that zone. If that breaks, you could see 168 next. Google was up 1% today, got a little bit of a continuation of a bounce off this demand line, up 1%, hidden bullish divergence starting to form. Amazon, the wedge did play out, believe it or not. So retesting highs of the rally here. 178 I think is the key resistance. Above that, pretty good, but beneath that, you have to wait and see. Netflix was up a few percent today. I think Mitch Ray texted me a little bit earlier and said Nvidia gained the market cap of Netflix in one night. Absolutely insane. Mind-blowing. But yeah, above 575 is pretty good for Netflix. That's a very important area historically, and it's above it. Alright, we were also looking at Flutter, which is FanDuel's parent company, and we're looking at this cup and handle. What's the last time we talked about a cup and handle? SMH, and you see how that went. So now we're looking at this gambling cup and handle essentially on FanDuel instead of semiconductors. I guess those are two of the most profitable industries in the world right now. I mean, gambling might have always been, but this cup and handle backtest still taking place on FLUT, DraftKings. Pretty much just retesting 39. It's kind of like a historical zone here. I would say this is very important for DraftKings to maintain above this white zone right here. You can see these lows and then also this high from the end of last year. Key levels there. This is just random. It was already on my watch list. FaZe stock, which has been a very garbage stock for a long time. Not sure what happened. FaZe Clan received stockholder approval for merger with GameSquare, and this one spiked up about 24%. It was up more at the highs. One with the test of 200-day moving average, and GameSquare stock was kind of flat on that. So just like a random thing I also saw. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Very crazy day in the market. Good stuff all around. We will see what happens tomorrow. I'm most likely going to finish adding to my Fisker position tomorrow or Monday, at least for right now. My average is under $1. It's getting towards the position size I'm comfortable fully risking for right now, which is what I've said from the beginning. See how that turns out. And that's pretty much it. Who's here? Thank you for supporting in the Kick Chat. Shout out to all of you in the YouTube chat. If you're watching the replay, I know it's a short stream tonight, so most of you are just going to be watching the replay. It's only going to be a 20-minute video. Really, I do appreciate support. Hit the subscribe button. Check out the links in the description. And if you want to come trade with me in premium, that's the pin chat, wap.com/championvibe. Quick stream, straight to the point. Appreciate all the support. Have a great night, and I will see you on the streams next week. Also, keep in mind, not this weekend, but starting the weekend after, I'm going to start putting out one video every single weekend as well. So look forward to that. Have a great night, and I'll see you later.